Hello there, this is Dave Allen for EV20 Questions, and you know what, I came out today because I just needed to get out for a drive in the car. It was cold in the house, and if I get in the car then I can put the seat heating on, I can whack the heater up and I can have a drive and get warm, and it's kind of nice to do that. So I came down south towards Barcelona in the direction of Mataró, and I headed towards a place, well, I'm in a place called St Pol de Mar. And it hasn't been great so far because for a start off I found difficulty finding the one place I went to, which was the last place. The Waze was sending me all different directions and I tried getting around, and every time I got back to the same car park and I was like close to the plug socket, I was close to where the chargers were, but I couldn't get through with the car because it was a one-way system. And I don't know how, I still don't know how I'll get back around to that bit there because it was just kind of confusing. There must be a way of doing it, but I just don't know it. Anyway, because there were cars there parked at the charging place. But I parked up, got out of my car and had a wander around, and there was a Kia Soul who's parked up there, and also a Nissan 30 kWh. I got talking to the guy with the Nissan. He was telling me that there was the other post there, the post with the Type 2 Mennekes sockets, which was just like 2 steps away. It was right next to the ones with the Shuko, and it wasn't working. It was just the one with the Shuko that was working. So basically you're only going to get 3 kilowatts. And probably there's a case that if you plugged in there and someone else is plugged into the same one, then because there was 2 sockets, one on either side of the thing, you were only going to get half of that. It was going to share it between the 2. So I thought, well, I'm not going to bother plugging in there because I've got plenty in the battery. I'm just going out for a bit of a drive just to have a bit of fun. And I come round to another one here, which is further up the hill away from the beach. And it's supposed to be near a hotel. I can't see the hotel. It's around here somewhere anyway, probably behind there. But anyway, the same situation where I've got... so what I've got is I've got a charging post to the front of me, which has got 2 Type 2 sockets, an A and a B. And it's one of these Circuitor ones. And then there's another one over there, which is another plug with another socket there, with a socket on either side. And that one is the 2 Shuko type plugs. That one's working, that one's not working. So, it seems to be a problem with this town. There is one more I could try in this town. Maybe I'll go and have a look and see. So I'm still in the same town, and I've come to a third charger. And it's another of these destination type chargers that the maximum is going to be 7 kilowatts if you can find a Type 2 Mennekes socket you can plug into that works. And yes, it doesn't work. It's the only the Shuko socket which is working, which is rather disappointing. So at the moment it's only pulling in 3 kilowatts, and it's taking, or it's going to take, a very long time to get any charging. I thought, well, I'd sit down and have a bit of a break anyway. And it's another thing that you have to think about when you're going around and doing a bit of charging up. This is on the edge of a industrial estate next to a petrol station, and the other places that I looked at were far better places to stop. The first one, it wasn't too far away from the beach. You could probably have a walk down to the beach. There's obviously going to be a lot of cafes and bits and bobs like that as well, so that's going to be kind of handy as well. And then the second place I went to, it was further away from the beach, but there was a hotel there. And if you got kids, there was a place in front where they could go and play on a playground, so that was something else as well. But this place here where I am now, it's not that pleasant, and I thought, well, I'm here, so I might as well just stop and put something in. We'll have a bit of a rest from the driving. So while I'm here, I've been having a look at Twitter to see what's going on, and there's a guy called Glyn from Wales, and he's heading down towards Granada area, I believe. And he came across the ferry from England into France because the ferry into Spain was cancelled due to bad weather. And he got through France no problem, as expected, because there's plenty of charges in France. And he's heading down through Spain. He did okay, was going through País Vasco, through Bilbao and so on, but as he headed towards Madrid, he started to find a few of the problems. He did manage to find a place where he could get some charging up here and there, but there was the one occasion where he had to actually get the generator out and top up the battery with the generator. I mean, it's using petrol to charge the car up, but at the same time, I mean, it's still a lot more eco-friendly than using a petrol vehicle. And I've just seen the latest tweet, and he's having to get the generator out again. He did go to a petrol station where they was able to let him plug into a Shuko plug. They didn't have a proper charger there, but at least he got some charge into the battery. I think the thing to learn for him is that, number one, it would have been better if it had headed across towards Barcelona, because there's plenty of chargers in Barcelona. There's more availability of chargers when you're driving down the coast to south through Spain, and probably would have been better in the longer run. Probably wasted less time sort of having to find places, well, using Shuko plugs where it's very slow, and also he would have had to get the generator out at all. So anyway, this is Dave Allen, and I'm wishing Glyn and his wife good luck as they travel through Spain, and maybe when they're heading back up through Spain, back up towards getting the ferry again in France, that they'll consider perhaps going through Barcelona instead and go up through the coast, because I think it probably would have been a much better idea. Okay, so I've had some luck this time. I've come into a place called Calella, and I've stopped at a place Correa San Juan, and there's a charging post here, and there's nobody at it, and it's got type 2, and I'm pulling in 6 kilowatts. I looked at the screen on the charging post there, and it looked like it might be coming in slightly more than 6 kilowatts, so that's pretty good as well. And it's nice to know that there are charging points like this around. I'm at 71% at the moment. I put 2% of charge into the battery at the last place because there wasn't much point in stopping there for very long. And at this place here, I might just going to have a bit of a walk around and see what's in Calella. And it says that in 20 minutes I'll be up to 75%. It's not fast, but it's going in faster than the last ones I was looking at. Those three in, well, that place was called St Pol de Mar. No, it was all sort of going in at 3.3 at the most, and that's just not good enough. One thing I did notice, that when I pulled up here and I plugged in, I got a little message come up on the screen there in front of me that said that the charging station was added to the map. So that's handy. It did that automatically. I didn't have to prompt it or do anything else. It just added it. And so I suppose next time I'm sort of going past here and I decide that I want to use the map in the car for looking for charging stations, I'll be able to use that just as easy as if I'm using PlugShare. So anyway, it seems like it's a good place to stop here in Calella, and I'll just have a quick walk down towards the town there, and I might even buy myself a cake, because I think I deserve it. Okay, so I'm still in Calella, and since I've come back to the car and sat down for a minute or two while I'm waiting for the charger to do that little bit extra, a guy pulled up next to me with a Renault Zoe, and he was telling me that there's cameras here that take pictures of you as you're coming into the parking here, and they sort of expect you to pay. But there's a sign here that says on Mondays to Saturdays between 9 and 2 o'clock you have to pay, and between 4 and 8 o'clock in the evening you have to pay. But I arrived here at 20 to 3, and I'm leaving now, and it's it's 3:30, so I'm within the sort of free period where I don't have to pay. So anyway, I've got 84% in the battery now. I put 14, no, actually, I put in 12, maybe 12% into the battery, and I've got 213 kilometres. And I had a nice walk around the town and walked down to the beach and back again. Walked across the train tracks to get to the beach. There's a little sort of crossing there. And it's not a bad place to stop and do a bit of charging. I imagine in the summertime it could be a bit warmer, but there's a tree there that's providing a bit of shade, I suppose. So I'll keep that in mind next time I'm going past this place. Anyway, Dave Allen, EV20 Questions. Wandering around looking at chargers in, at the moment, Calella de Mar in Catalonia. If you could consider adding a like to this video or even subscribing, I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot.